Hello, collective. So, very quickly, very shortly, this is more so an encouragement for God's elect, God's people, God's children, chosen ones, 144,000. You know what it is. The people that are doing what they need to do for the sake of, well, the high vibrations. Okay. So, but specifically God's select. Okay, that group. You know, you know. I just want to encourage you guys that the battle is the Lord's. The battle is God's. Remember, you're royal priesthood. Okay, and it says in the Bible that we wrestle not. Let me double check. Okay, we wrestle not. Ephesians 6:12. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of the dark, and so forth. Okay, that means darkness, weirdness, shenanigans of lower forces, um, people, places, and things that is trying. That is trying their best to make sure that the royal priesthood, God's children, either stay in that vibration or not. Yeah, either stay in that vibration or at least, because I want to say either stay in that vibration or take them out. But the thing of this nature is you can't take out something that has an eternal flame. Okay? If it's a royal priesthood, if it's holy, if it's something sacred, okay? If there was sacredness in darkness, there's sacredness in light. So if we're part of that light, it cannot be extinguished. Okay? I feel like there's always going to be this battle between good and bad, nonetheless. But I say this to say they can't move you from a place where God has put you in. You get me? I feel like there is this, and that's why they're trying so hard. They want you to bring you back to their level, or want to take you out, or they want to take you out. But I can't even pronounce that speech impendency aside. It's impossible to shake, change, or rearrange something that God has put into place, which is you. Okay? So, in that moment, I want to just encourage anyone that I just feel like, okay, things are going a little bit too cray cray, a little bit too much. So don't lose hope. Vengeance is the Lord. And I say this all the time. It's not the peoples, it is the entities, it's the frequencies, it's the vibrations that is doing this. Okay. So principalities is not the people. For like the longest time, even coming from where I come from, looking where I'm looking at and looking how I look like for these people, right? Their perception of me, it's never that. Like if I'm not spiritually inclined, I would have literally be like, this is some human attack based bullshit. Okay, but it's all spiritual. Okay, especially for the God's children elect. And I'm not saying that you're not getting that you getting spiritually attacked doesn't take away from you ever experiencing human attack bullshit, as in discrimination, humiliation, prejudice, colorism, all that. Okay, all the isms, right? Racism, etc. Like it doesn't take away that, because I'm not gonna sit here like people that are God select doesn't face both a human attack as well as a spiritual attack. Okay, but I'm speaking to the people that um, can understand on the spiritual level that it's not the people, it's the principalities, it's the frequencies that's doing this. Okay, um, I kind of reflecting back a little bit. I'm now viewing it as a little bit of like it's not narcissism. There is this thing called narcissism, but it reminds me of like I would say this. Um, like what I've noticed is that narcissistic people, I've seen a lot of them, different forms and places, and throughout my life. they have the same blueprint or the same characteristics. Something about their smirk or their scoff is very similar. For me, doesn't matter if it's somebody that I do know and that I don't know. Somehow they inhabit that same spiritual narcissistic energy, or quote unquote that demonic energy, depending on the levels of it all. Because I've had narcissistic people around me, and then I have narcissistic people that really are out here to, like, on some shit, harm me. Okay? Okay, there are narcissistic people that are fucking dangerous. And then there are narcissistic people that are just narcissistic with no action. You get me? Okay? It kind of depends on where they're at. Um, but yeah, for some reason today, I was getting ready to kind of have a little bit of a chill day. I started thinking about one of my old doctors. I just met this doctor once, but he had the same spiritual, um, how do I say, narcissism to him, right? And but also, and the weird thing is, I've had other doctors that have had the same name. So again, things are repetitional. Things that mimic is the same spirit that is very much trying to be like, okay, if that won't work, let's send in another one. Like, I've had the two doctors behaving in the same way, sent in to test me, basically. Okay. Um, and I was thinking, why is this doctor? Why am I on this doctor's mind? Because I don't go to, I don't have their services anymore. Okay. I cut them off. So it was kind of like very odd to me. I have a new doctor, new place. If you don't know, I'm just somebody that's been through a lot. Okay. Um, so I say this to say, God always gonna put you in a place where it's gonna either elevate you or shame the other person, especially if you're part of God's select. And I feel like this is the reason why that doctor, I'm on their mind. Okay. Um, so it was interesting to me, for me, indeed, right? Like, there's so much I can go into it, but this is just like an encouragement, just quick for people's elect that feel like, okay, things are just doing the most right now. Things are a bit crazy. Maybe you're dealing with scare issues, or with narcissistic doctors that don't want to do anything other than take your money. Like I said, you're there to clock their bullshit, or they're there to help you. Either way, as God select, God will always make sure you're good. That's why I don't have that specific doctor anymore. But that was, in my personal case, months ago. Okay. Um, yeah, I just want to do a little encouragement. I wanted to do like a whole breakdown on just being attacked on a spiritual level, materializing in the physical, where I really understood the Bible verse Ephesians 6:12. Because I'm gonna tell you this. Like I said in the beginning, at first I was like, oh my God, maybe they're racist or discriminatory, or, I'm the black sheep, or, I'm trying to humanize it. The reason why people are against me like this. And I noticed other children of God's um, have similar experience. But that was a really long ass video, so I'm trying to make this more an encouraging space and uplift and inspire. Because I tell you this, very short and very sweet. Because in my mid 25s, okay, that was not the toughest year for me, but it was one of the most crazy ass life experience that I was conscious enough to realize in my adult life what and it's a spiritual attack really is. Because I'm talking about ending up at the hospital type of spiritual attack. Like it was that deep, right? Um, that's it's still. I'm laughing at it now because I don't know if you want me to do a breakdown. I will. I think I've sometimes I do mention bits and pieces of my own life. I'm trying not to do so much. I can for sure, but I say this to say I'm not sitting here and trying to just inspire or motivate from out of nowhere. Okay. But I do feel like it needs to be a reminder, just like how scripture reminds us that all that is happening right now, it is not in vain. And on that note, if you overcame it once, you will overcome it another time, the next time. Okay. Um, if you didn't die before, you won't die now. The only one that can say it's a wrap is finito for you is God, Elohim, the Most High, and that's it. Okay, um, and that's it. That's it. Because I'm not gonna sit here like I'm talking from experience where the attacks I have seen other people gone through, including myself. It is not the karmic. He said, she said. It's on a different. This is a different ball game. It's a different level. Um, you know, and I asked Spirit, I even add some cards to this. Why? You know, I'm not one of those people. Yes, I do readings. To be quite honest, I focus more so on music. If you don't know, but if you do know, you know. Like, I'm not one of those people that are out and about that be showcasing me and what I do. I'm very to myself. I'm not a celebrity. I'm not Michael, Beyonce, or Taylor Swift. So I'm thinking, why is this so intense, right? And not even to be like that, I don't even have 1K for all of this commotion to happen. And mind you, all of the bullshit that took place during that mid 25 of my life, I don't think I was even active on YouTube like that. Or even in spirituality. So again, it didn't make sense to me. Because if I take Jesus as an example, he was out and about and doing miracles. I am not that. I was never that. Okay? Um, so logical conclusion is, well, I'm a part of God's elect. Been since I was born. And that's why. Does it suck that the attacks are like this? Yeah. But like Paul says in the Bible, it's like there is a privilege, there is a blessing in suffering for Christ, suffering for the Lord, suffering for the gospel. Now, on a personal note, I'm not here to preach the gospel. I've been merely 2, 3 years. I razzle dazzle, add some scriptures because I feel led to do so. But it's not a thing I do, and I don't do it in my daily life. You get me? But that's suffice to say, you don't have to do all that to be God's child. Okay? You don't have to be a preacher, you don't have to be, do YouTube, you don't have to do nothing. If God is like that's mine, that's it. That's it. And I fall into the category that I am God. So there's that. And obviously I'm happy. It's a blessing. But it's not easy, okay? So I feel like for those people who are like, oh my God, things are like doing the most. Don't worry. If you overcome it once, you will overcome it twice. If you didn't die now or then, you won't die until God says it's time to go. And I assure you, it will not be on the principalities and whatever forces on their terms and conditions. Okay, because I see a lot of spiritual stuff, right, and a lot of things have happened to me spiritually and physically. But that whole mid 25s of my life, that whole, I guess, coma moment for me, Yes, it was that serious. It's like it's laughable. Because I even had like even nurses, the same nurses that was used by these entities to discriminate towards me, to be so worried, almost in tears, telling me, "We were worried. You didn't wake up. We didn't think you would wake up from a surgery that, according to another nurse, I never had, but according to a doctor, I did." Like weird stuff like that. Okay, and I'm thinking it's laughable now, right? And I think how I'm looking at it is God wanted me to have a break. So he put me on pause. So I was forced to spiritually just be in this coma for a bit after the surgery. Because to this day, a lot of people was freaked out. The same people, including the other outside people that was supposed to, you know, be there. That the devil only attacks the people that he doesn't have. It's that simple. And you don't have to be a preacher to be one of God's elect. So I'm just encouraging you to have faith. 'Cause God knows who's his. Okay? And for me personally, it wasn't, yes, I was in pain. Yes, that entire experience was just excruciating. But I was kind of over it, you know? And the funny thing is I never like blame God for it. Like I wasn't the energy of Job and Joseph. Like I knew I would be okay, but also like in the sense of like how I looked at it. It's not just if I move to a different country or have a new friend group or a new partner. It's almost like the devil always trying to seep in through these people where I'm like, okay, I don't think planet Earth is for me because the way is operating. Where the heck is my soul tribe? You get me, you know. Um, but it pushed me more and more to do YouTube. I think it kind of started the whole thing. Um, Not right after, but I was kind of led on eventually. But I say this to say, God knows when it's your beginning, your end, and your middle. And at the end of the day, He's the only one that decides if it's finito. Um, that's just something I've noticed in my own life. Okay, like God is the only one who can be like, okay, it's a wrap. Let's close the curtains. It's time to go home, right? So I don't know, like whoever feels lost, whoever feels like okay, this shit has been hitting the fan is being a little bit too much of the struggles and tribulation package. It's not the end until God says so. And side note, I'm not saying that God is testing you going through all those spiritual attacks or physical attacks. No, I I feel like I'm just speaking for myself. It was allowed for me to experience because He knew I would overcome it. There are certain things God knows that I'm like, no, she's not about to experience that with that person. Okay, even with my free will, even with my free will, he's like, no, she's not about to experience that with that. That's it. No, there's a limit to it. Like I said, it's not like I've not been through things like that example I just told you guys. But there is a limit to what God is like, okay, you know? Listen, I'm here, well, live and free. And I can only laugh at the past when Loki almost died, you know? Or coma, if I said so. Um, What I also have noticed recently, I don't know if it's relevant for the rest of you guys, um, but Psalms 23 could be quite relevant. That whole I'm preparing a table in front of your enemies could be very evident right now for some of you guys. I think it's relevant for me, but I will let you know when I see it, okay? Um, but yeah, I just want to give a little encouragement. I know it's a little bit too much. Let me read the title. Let's wrap it up. They wanted the royal priesthoods. God's children chose someone's dead, but they cannot kill what's holy. Okay. Um, what else? Okay. 777 is a yes confirmation. Angels are protecting you. 333 is God, Holy Spirit, and Joshua protecting you through all levels and dimension. As it is, so shall it be. On that note, thank you for listening.